quick clamp to seat all the dominoes in position before moving on to the next board. Panel clamps only have so much travel in them, so I like to make sure the pieces are really butt up against each other before tightening those down. And as you can see here, all my lazily drawn lines are matched up perfectly because the first set of mortises on each board was regular size. I hope all that made sense. Anyway, I prefer to scrape the glue while it's still wet and use a wet rag to rub away the excess, then set it off to dry. This panel was for the desk top. Then I repeated the same process for the cabinet sides, top, and bottom. The back of the cabinet on the West Elm desk is squared off. Probably because it's much easier to manufacture it that way, but I thought it would be better to make the back of the cabinet rounded to mimic the look of the front. To achieve this, I'll need thicker piece that I can make round. So I glued up a couple pieces to get a blank that I can mill down to be 3 inches square to match the radius I'll put on the desktop, and ran into a slight issue with the draw slides I was planning to use. My original plan for these back outer curves was to just cut a 45-degree cut on the inside and hoped the draw slides would fit. But then they arrived and I realized that they didn't. With the slides against the front edge of the cabinet, I marked the location where the slides would end up, and I made 2 cuts at the table saw to remove all of that material. Now the draw slide will fit perfectly. Problem solved. Those back pieces get glued to the side panels with dominoes, and I set them off to dry. These corners will get a 3-inch radius, but the largest size on the files I found earlier was 2.5 inches. So I had to jump into Fusion and design my own, and an hour later I had a perfect 3-inch radius jig. For now I used it to mark where the curve will be so I could mark a line for where to remove the waste. I set the table saw blade to 45 degrees